What's up, YouTube? It's Trace Face. It's Sunday afternoon. I finally have a little bit of a break today. I've been running around like a crazy person doing makeup for my brother's movie. And I believe all my duties will be completed on September 16th. I'm kind of stuck right now. My weekends are pretty stuck doing this project, but it's been an amazing experience. It's my brother's first movie he's ever done, and I'm really excited for him, and I think this movie is going to be awesome. It is called Vibration, and it's a horror movie that has a pretty unique ending as far as I'm concerned. It's a pretty awesome ending. It's got a positive ending spin to it. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool to see all that it takes to put a movie together and how many people have come together to make this movie. It's amazing what happens when people come together. So that's kind of the message today. It's amazing what happens when people come together. And I'm sitting here rocking on my porch right now. It is such a beautiful day today. It is just gorgeous. The wind has just been blowing all day. Probably not the best day for you bikers. I would imagine the wind might be a little too much on the bike. Hope all you bikers are protecting yourselves with helmets and gear and everything you can put on your bodies. I have such a love for motorcycles, but I also am petrified because of the things I've seen happen to friends of mine, and it's quite scary. So just make sure you're out there protecting yourself in these last wee hours of the summer here. I wanted to talk today about how narcissists are opportunists, and they are constantly on the hunt for something better and something better and something better. You know, a lot of times these narcissists are looking for someone to build them up. You know, a good person to build them up. So when they're at the point that they've gotten all they can, they've fed off of you as much as they can. Now they're looking to get something much better than they believe you are. The devaluing of you starts happening when you start realizing what you're dealing with, and when they know that you've caught on to it, you immediately, like I said before, you immediately become dog meat. They immediately start looking at you like, you know, what does she have to offer me? What has she got going for her? I can do better than that. That's how they think about themselves. They think all the time, I can do better than that. I'm better than her. I deserve better than her or him, if your narc is a female. They are always in pursuit for the next best thing. They want to have what I call they want to star off. Narcissists want to star off somebody else. So they're looking for somebody that's very established, somebody that's known for something, somebody that has something really big, really huge going for them. You know, it could be an athlete, it could be a model, it could be an actor, it could be, they're looking for these kind of things. Or if you know, they don't have this access to fame, they're not attracting fame and fortune. They're trying to attract fortune. They're going to go for somebody that's got a lot of money. My last narc, man. Oh, that narc. His ex-girlfriend was a narc. So the two of them narked it out for a good 6 years. If you would have heard those stories, you know. And when I met him, you know, it's so funny how they have to play the victim, right? They have to play the victim. When they're meeting new people, they have to have all these stories about how they're the victim, and the last person they were with was highly abusive, and she did all this stuff to me, and she was crazy, And, you know, my instinct was, what would make you stay with somebody like that for 6 years? Well, as it turns out, she reeled him in. She was so psychotic. This one was pretty much a borderline personality disorder topped with some psychopathic tendencies, for sure. But do we know what really happened in that relationship? No, we don't, but I can give you an idea. He cheated on his girlfriend with this thing, okay? Because she was offering him sexual favors. Yeah. And, you know, she reeled him in by making him think that she had all this money. She was taking him to $1 million homes and saying she was dying of cancer and she wanted to give him a good home. And, you know, these narcs, man, these narcs are so gullible. I mean, they're easy. They're easy, guys. They're really easy. And that's the thing. They, you know, somebody dangles something in front of their face that, here, where are we going? Where are we going? I want that. You know, that's how they are. They're easy. All it takes is a girl to show him her boobs and they're gone. I mean, they're so gullible, and this is what gets them into trouble. They have no self-control. They have no self-discipline, and they're going by really bad intentions. They have bad intentions. So what do you think they're going to get? What do you think's going to happen? But of course, he had me believing in the way beginning that, you know, he made these mistakes and he owned up to them and he had learned a heck of a lot and he had grown up and he wasn't looking for that kind of stuff any longer. He was so done. He had such a horrible experience with this girl. And, you know, and they make you think, oh, here you are. You come along and you've saved me. Have you guys heard that one? You saved me. You saved my life. Well, you know, 7 years have gone by now, and I can tell you something. I have learned a lot. When someone wants to tell you stories like this in the very beginning, run. Run. That is a serious red flag. And again, you know, I was coming out of a very abusive relationship that had lasted for me for 4 years. And I made the mistake of telling him all this because I thought I could trust him. He was sharing such intimate details with me and the life he chose that he was sorry for, and he didn't want anything to do with that life any longer. And so I felt that I could trust him to tell him the horrible relationship I had gotten out of 6 months previous. So I hadn't even healed from that. And there's narc in shining armor making it seem like, hey, we met each other. This was meant to be, man. This was meant to be, you and me. But if we go back and we actually listened to what they were saying and really listened, you know, people wear masks. So getting back to the fact that the narc is an opportunist, yes, they are opportunists. When they have landed you, now they're looking to see what's the next best thing I can land. Stepping stones. They want you to build them up. Build them up, build them up. Use every resource they can so that they can get the next best thing that they believe that's going to come after you. These people are superficial. They try to hide that they are, but they really are. They are driven by money and power and control and manipulation and sex and all these lustful and sinful things. That's what they're driven by. So just remember that, guys. They're opportunists. They have compartmentalizing for everything they're looking to do. When they're with you, Let me explain. They got to have compartmentalizing for their categories. They're having an emotional affair with one that you'll never know about. They're constantly calling them, texting them, writing to them. Woe is me. Woe is me. And they're living out that affair, the emotional affair, while they got all these other lustful affairs happening. They got a different one for each thing that they're looking for. One of the ones that is dirty that they know they're going to use for that. One of the ones that, you know, that they've bamboozled into the stories they're telling and feel sorry for them, you know. Their abusive wife. God help me, my abusive wife. Which, by the way, I want to mention to all of you that I know have been watching and commenting in my other groups that I'm part of. Yes, that's exactly what happens. See, they have to project what's going on with them. So the minute you start to get strong, you start to have a voice, they can hear it in your tone. They know that you're changing. They know that you've caught on to this game. You become the abuser now. You're being abusive to me. Why? Because I'm not tolerating it anymore? Yes, that's exactly what it is. You become abusive the minute you start to get strong and you don't want to tolerate the abuse. So be prepared for that. When you start to get strong and you start standing up for yourself, start sticking up for yourself. Start thinking about that person years ago. If you've been with your narc for years, think about that person years ago that might not have had a voice, that was so scared, so unbelievably shocked and scared that she couldn't even stick up for herself. She couldn't believe what was happening. She couldn't believe this was happening. She couldn't believe this is what she married. She couldn't believe this person was capable of doing such horrible things. And when you leave the narc, the memories, the awful memories are going to peek in. They're going to play peekaboo in your mind. They're going to come back in your dreams because they were terrible. These people do terrible things. And then they expect you to stay quiet about it. Don't tell anybody about this. Because it didn't happen. It's not true. You don't have proof. That's how they think. You know, for those of you, I'm going to tell you right now that are still involved with these people, start getting your information and your facts together. I don't care what it takes. Because that's the only way you're going to have some sort of solid proof as to what's happening here. Hire a private investigator. Have one of your friends follow them. Whatever it takes. Because these people will stop at nothing to get away with the awful things that they're doing to you. They will stop at nothing. You need to get that proof so that you know you're not going crazy and so you can move on with your life. But even if you don't want to go that extra mile, your proof is in right here. It's in right here, okay? It's telling you every day. When things do not feel right, your body and your mind and your soul are talking to you on a daily basis. It's trying to tell you. If you're going through back pain, headaches all the time, you're constantly getting sick, your immune system has been, has been lowered. These are all indications that something is seriously wrong, and you have to listen to those. Your own instincts tell you what's wrong. It will. Every single time. Every single time. The narcs I was with were doing bad things. I could feel it. I could feel it when they would come home and open that door. And it would always be in about 2 to 3 month increments. You'd forgive them. They'd make you feel sorry for them. They'd cry about their childhood. They would do all these tactics, right, to get you to feel sorry, forgive them, give them another chance. Think in your heart that they had the right intentions. They just slipped up. This is what they do. You get them back, you accept them back in, and it goes like this. and it goes right back down again to what they initially are trying to do, which is to have it all. They want to have it all. They want you. They want her. They want his attention. They want to get to him because he's got stuff going on for him. They're going to get close to him. They're going to step on her. They're going to go with her because she's got this. I mean, about 3 months, they're back at it again. They cannot sustain any sort of decency, morals, values. They feeling good and doing good things can only last for so long with them because that does not feel normal to narcissistic people, cluster B people. So that's all I really wanted to say today. I know that one of you had asked me to do a video about cluster B personality disorders, and I could definitely do one about that based on my experiences in life. And I've had experiences with all of them, I'm pretty sure, in the cluster Bs. Again, I believe that these people are spiritually infected, but for those of you that haven't yet really sort of opened your mind to the spirit world, the psychology end of things can kind of sort of explain, explain it in terms that everybody can understand, and it goes based on the behaviors. So I'm not a therapist. I've done a lot of research. I did take a lot of psychology classes in college, but yeah, I definitely will do a video about that. I can do a video about that based on my experience. Again, just be very careful. One of the things I did want to mention to all of you is that I know a lot of you are having a real hard time with healing, and I get it. This is a time of year for me that's really hard because this is the time of year that I made a big decision to move on with my life. And this was also the time of year that was the best year for me. I'm sure all of you can relate. The first few months to that first year was like mind-blowing, right? And a lot of us were trying to get back to that. Let's get back to that first year, Well, I hate to tell all of you, and it took me a long time to figure this out, but that first year was smoke and mirrors. It was smoke and mirrors. We're trying to recreate something that was fake from the start. So it's really hard, It's hard to tell yourself that all these years were fake. They weren't real. There was no good, solid intentions there from the narc. They weren't. So, but I want to say this. From my experience, one of the best things that you can do to heal is to wake up every single day and either write down or when you go to the mirror to get ready in the morning, or when you first wake up, have a piece of have a notepad and paper, or say your prayers, and try to name at least 3 things that you're thankful for. And I am doing a fast this week. It's a 10-day fast starting tomorrow. If any of you are interested in getting information about what this fast entails, and what I also do with the fast is I do a lot of praying. It's proven to be very beneficial to me in calming some of these bad memories and some of these mixed feelings, and trying to get closer to God, because he's the only one that's going to save us. So if any of you are interested, you can definitely message me on what I do and how this has really helped my healing process, my healing journey. And I'd like to be able to help any of you in any way I can possibly. So please continue to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell to the right-hand corner. That bell will give you notifications when I do a new video, so you can really stay in touch with me. I'm very thankful for all of you, for all of your questions, comments, emails. It's helping me is more than you know, and I really hope that I can help you along in my journey. I am Trace Face. Thanks again. It's time we all face the truth together.